everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Training Talk series by Chartered Accountants Ireland, where we showcase some of our programs. And today we are going to talk about the Diploma in Taxation. My name is Sinead from the team, and I am speaking to Crona Clohessy. So, Crona, you are so very welcome. Thank you so much for getting involved. How are you today, first off?
I'm good, Sinead. Thank you. Lovely to see you, and thanks for having me on. All as well here in the tax world.
Great. Well, look, it's so good that you have taken the time, and it's just really nice to bring to life, I suppose, our programs and showcase what they're all about. But will we maybe kick things off with an introduction? Tell us a bit more about yourself, Crona.
Yeah, so I am program examiner for the Diploma in Tax, and I'm also head of tax and policy in Chartered Accountants Ireland. So I am a chartered accountant and tax qualified. I started my training in KPMG, and I worked mainly in personal tax compliance, and then I moved into Grant Thornton, where I did a lot of tax consultancy. And then after a little bit of a stint in revenue, I went to Australia, and I actually used my chartered accountant's qualification, and I worked in accounting for charitable bodies, so advising them on their financial statements and board papers and all that sort of stuff. But I suppose tax was kind of calling me back. So I got back then into a tax role in the Institute about 7 years ago, and I've been here since. So yeah, I just really enjoy the challenge of tax, and having, I suppose, had a flavour of both. I'm happy now to be back working in tax.
Brilliant. Oh, such a varied career and an expert in all things tax by the signs of it. So the ideal person to speak to today about the diploma then that we offer. So would you chat us through, I suppose, what is involved in the diploma in taxation that Chartered Accountants Ireland offer?
Yeah, so the diploma, I think I've been involved the last number of years. I think it's a really great course for someone who, a chartered accountant, who might be working in a practice or a business and wants to know or needs to know a little bit more about tax. So I think, tax, maybe traditionally was a little bit of a siloed profession, but now we're finding, I guess, businesses do need to look at the tax element of decisions that they're making and things that they do. So I think this course is perfect for someone who needs to know a little bit more about tax. I'm sure, lots of people have been in their day-to-day job thinking, oh, I wish I knew about a bit more about VAT or a bit more about income tax. And that's what this diploma offers. So there's 7 modules in the diploma, and it covers all the main tax heads. So income tax, corporation tax, VAT, capital acquisitions tax, capital gains tax, and then there's a module on revenue law, and then not forgetting the accountants among us, there is an accounting for tax module as well. So it's the way it's assessed is over 3 assignments, and students have to achieve a 50% pass mark in each assignment to gain the diploma in tax. And students who get over 70% can get a distinction in the course. So I suppose the course is set out in a series of pre-recorded videos, and there's a number of case studies which I find are particularly useful because I suppose they bring the tax situation to life. So they're real business examples, real life examples of where tax needs to be consideration in restructurings or in day-to-day compliance. So the course, I suppose, is heavily focused on students at the end of the course being able to prepare a tax return, both income tax and corporation tax. And then I suppose, there's also a focus on VAT issues that every business needs to know. And then this was the more capital taxes, if you're thinking about selling your business or passing on a business to the next generation, there's elements of that as well. So it's a very varied course. But I think at the end of the course, students will be a lot more comfortable in dealing with tax issues in their day-to-day roles.
So lots in it, which is great, and no doubt giving them the confidence and those skills that they need to be more tax proficient. And in terms of the ideal audience, like who's it for ideally, Crona?
Yeah, so I think, I think the minimum requirement to get onto the course is that you are a chartered accountant. Now, that's not someone who has to have qualified with Chartered Accountants Ireland. If you've qualified with one of the UK bodies like ICAW or ICAS, you can join the course. But I suppose the people that we're targeting are those accountants working in smaller practices or smaller family businesses or smaller SMEs that maybe are in a traditionally accounting role and they're doing the accounts, but they do need to file the corporation tax return or maybe income tax return at the end of the year, and they want a little bit of help in doing that, and they want to be, a lot of these businesses might feel they have to hire an external tax advisor, but if the person in the business working now has this diploma in tax qualification, they'll be able to do the return and be confident in their work. So that's the kind of cohort that this course aims at. As I said, it covers all the main tax sets, but there is a particular focus on compliance. So, it's not a legislatively heavy course in the sense that obviously you do have to refer to the Taxes Act, but there's no requirement, to really delve into the nitty gritty of the section. This is a course with someone who needs to know a little bit about a lot of taxes, and that's what this course it really aims at.
Fab. No, it's really good to chat that through. And I suppose if someone was looking at it, they're considering it, they're maybe on the fence, what maybe would you say to someone?
I'd say do it. I think, the having a tax add-on qualification is something that it's really required in the modern world at the moment. Obviously revenue, they're very active. They're out looking at businesses, and I think having someone with a qualification, a diploma in tax, working in a business can probably, add such value to that business. So I wouldn't hesitate. I think in terms of the content, as I said, it's not legislatively heavy. It's a really interesting course. There's lots of case studies, and it's very achievable in the sense that the time commitment, obviously it's a time commitment, but I don't feel it's a burdensome time commitment. I think for the actual return that you'll get and the confidence that you'll get then in your day-to-day work if you are dealing with tax. So I think if you've ever thought to yourself on a day-to-day basis, I wish I knew more about VAT, or wish I knew more about how to file, is that expense allowable for a tax deduction? I think do the course, because you'll find out. I just think confidence is so important when we're doing our roles day to day, and something like the diploma in tax can help with that. And just, I suppose you just feel more confident in your work, which obviously then, makes for a more happy work environment. So I just say do it. If you have any inkling at all to know more about tax, or if there's a requirement in your role, this is the perfect course for you.
Well, what a note to wrap things up on, Crona. Thank you so much for stepping us through that. It is an express chat today, just to, I suppose, give folk a flavour of what the programme is all about. So we really appreciate you taking the time and coming and sharing those insights. And folk tuning in, you'll get more details in the caption. And until next time, we'll see you soon. And thanks again, Crona.
No problem. Thanks, Sinead.